So today we're going to look at adding foliage to our level in Unreal Engine 5. So first and foremost, instead of making it, I'm going to use one from the Quixel Megascans website. So this is included as part of your Epic Games account. So all you need to do is go to Quixel Megascans and sign into your Epic Games account. And then we can find whatever we want. So 3D plants, add one grass, and then you select one that you like the most. So you click on it, we're going to use 2K resolution, and you just download it. So I've already got mine downloaded. Once it's done that, you'll then just need to extract the actual folder, and then you'll be able to open it, and you'll see a lot of different things. So a lot of the Quixel Megascans would come with different variations, so VAR just means the variation. They'll also come with different levels of LOD, so it'll have LOD 0 up to 4. I've deleted the ones I don't want. I'm only going to use LOD 1s on mine. So I've downloaded the asset pack. It comes with textures. I'm going to use the Atlas textures and the actual models themselves. So back into Unreal. So like anything else, we need to import our assets. So I'm just going to put it into foliage. I've got one there already. Obviously, you create a new folder, call it foliage1 _1, sorry, and then we open it up. I'm just going to use one variation for now, so I'll drag that in, import. So I'll import the foliage model and it'll assign it a new material. We then need to get as actual materials, so in textures and Atlas, we're going to just import a few. So, new folder again, I call it, in fact, I'm going to call it textures, so I know it's for this one. And then I'm going to use the albedo, I'm going to hold control and select the normal, the opacity in case it doesn't do it automatically, and the roughness. They're the only ones I'm going to use, you could use all of them. So I've dragged them, dropped them into the texture folder. So now we can actually change the material. So it's applied the Lambert one. We're going to double click and open up that to edit it. So I want to delete the white that it comes with. Again, on as content draw, all of them textures we imported, we're just going to click, hold shift and click the end one, and then drag and drop in. We're just going to drag them around so we can separate them out a little bit. Colour or albedo, if it's called that, needs to be near the top. The roughness there, and its opacity down here. So we get the RGB off the normal map and we plug it into normal. The RGB on the colour and into base colour. The RGB of the roughness into roughness, and the RGB of opacity can't be plugged in yet. So we need to select as material and it will give us the details, and we need to tell it that it's not opaque, so we need to tell it that the blend mode is actually masked. The shading model needs to be two-sided foliage, and we're going to make it two-sided. Now we can get our map, which is opacity, and we can drag the RGB into opacity mask. So not opacity, it's opacity mask. So it knows where to actually mask out the opacity. And then we can apply all of them textures and our material will be ready to use. And now our piece of foliage, so the model, should now have the textures applied to it. So this one's very small. If I now imported the other variations, if you remember there was different ones, so there's actually 9 variations that all use the same texture, so I could pull in this one. So variation 4, just drag that into here. It'll come with a new material. Oh, sorry, actually, it's automatically done it. If it comes with a new material, just delete the new one, and then you just can click on your variation 4, and we can just change the material down there. So, we've got different stuff here. What we're going to do is we're going to now apply it to his foliage brush. So we've got them in. We're going to go onto his foliage. We're just going to select for now, and we're going to drag and drop our models into here. So I'm just going to do the one just to show you. In fact, do both. So we can pull multiple ones in and import them. Oh, there we go. So save. So we've added this foliage that we want to use. We're now going to paint them on. We're going to select both because I want to do both at the same time. Now we can change the scale so we get some variation. So we might want some quite small ones. We might want some that are slightly larger. So it'll go between this scale and size. We want it to be uniform. We don't want it to distort too wide or too tall. So we just want a uniform scale. Now the density is set to 100, which is quite dense. I put it to around 20 just to start with. And then we want to untick a line to normal. Now we do that because if we don't, so once we paint it in, it's going to make our actual foliage go outwards from the hill. Now it wouldn't typically grow like that. It doesn't grow directly out. It would curve up anyway. So if we untick a line to normal, they'll come out straight. So it's just automatically going to make it look better. Now if you notice, we've got some different size variations, and that was from the scaling min and max. So some are quite small and some are a lot larger. Now it's something that you just need to mess around with. Obviously if we do 5, they're going to be really large. So getting that scale variation, the bounds of the minimum and maximum is something to just eyeball and test. Now if we want to make our actual paint larger, the easiest way is to just hold control and use your scroll wheel to change the size of the paint. Now the density doesn't scale with the size of the brush, so that will be a 20 density regardless of the size. So it doesn't matter, it's just a uniform density. So this is here. All the brush size does is just say what area that it needs to do the paint within. So if I've upped the density to 1200, it's going to be very dense. Even if I make the brush larger, it's not going to do that amount in this size. It's going to do the actual density and it's going to scale that up. Okay? So if you've got too much height, that align to normal won't work. So you may have to just manually put them in. So that's how we can very quickly get foliage into our levels.